So what actually brought you to this property 20 years ago?
Well, I've always done up houses and never redecorated because I've never lived in them long enough. So I've always had a passion for old property, love old property. Started off doing barn conversions, did hundreds of them in Northumberland and in North Yorkshire. And then I developed a passion for doing country houses in my 20s and just carried on, buying them, renovating them, and then moving on. But when I found this place, I just came down the drive and thought, oh my goodness, it's like a little hidden haven. And it really is, the grounds are just beautiful. And I was going to sell it and move not long ago, a few years ago, to another country house, which I bought, but I couldn't bear. I put it on the market and we did have a buyer, but I just could not bear to sell it because it is just so beautiful. And here I am 20 odd years later, still here. And I've done many houses in that time, both in the UK and internationally.
Where are some of the kind of most exotic places?
A lot of the houses I've done are in the Saint-Tropez area. I do have property in the Alps. I'm currently developing in a beautiful resort called Megève, doing luxury ski chalets, and also doing a project in Mallorca. So,
but you chose Yorkshire here.
Well, this is a house that I want to keep, but my dream is to have houses in all the different locations, which I've started to do, and still share them with other people. So rent them out for staycations. Even the houses in Saint-Tropez and Megève are rented out because I can't live in them all the time. But I want to be able to enjoy the lifestyle of those properties, but then share them when I'm not there. And this just makes the most idyllic wedding venue, with the church and the grounds and everything we have here.
And you're following in the footsteps of some incredible proprietors. So the original owners of here, they have also owned Fountains Abbey and Studley Royal.
Studley Royal, yes. And what is really strange, it was built for the daughter, and her birthday's the same day as mine, which is a bit spooky. And a lot of the stuff that I did here, I didn't have a clue how it was, but I've taken it back to how it originally was without knowing.
Wow.
Which is quite incredible, really.
Tell me a bit about what do you know about the family who are originally here, for people who don't kind of know anything about the history.
Well, Studley Royal is obviously a big landmark in Ripon, Fountains Abbey, and obviously it was built for their daughter, Sophia, and then the house was in that family for many years. Then eventually it was extended in the 1750, and then in the 1850 it was extended again, and the Courage Brewery family, which are quite a well-known family because Courage Brewery are all over the country, and they lived here for over 100 years, and then eventually it became a luxury hotel. And I think for quite a few years in the 70s it was very popular. It was down as one of the best places to stay in the UK. Again, a hidden secret, because it is kind of hidden. It's nestled down and it's in its own little enclave. But then what happened, over the time, the people who ran it as a hotel eventually sold it on, and it became a bit of a retreat. And when I bought it in 2003, it was a bit on its knees, so it needed really a big refurb, which is what I did with it. And as I say, took some of the rooms back to how they would have been originally. But a lot of the lovely features were still there, which was brilliant.
And obviously you say that by accident, in a way, it's returned to how it was, and even your own daughter shares the same birthday as the
No, to myself, shares the same birthday.
Oh, yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But it was Sophia, is the name of the girl it was built for, and my daughter's Sophia, or Sophie. And but the birthday is the same birthday as mine.
Wow. And tell me what it's like living in such a historical place with your own family now.
Oh, it's beautiful. And the thing that people say whenever they come here is it's like home from home, and that's how we describe it. It's very much a home. It's not, it doesn't feel like a huge grand house at all. It feels very homely and just a beautiful place to be. And I never take it for granted how, even after 20 odd years of being here, I wander around and I just think, wow, this is so beautiful. And everyone who comes does share that same feeling. And it just has a real heart, and it's some people describe it as enchanting, and I think the grounds are enchanting, and the house inside, the rooms are very homely. You know, I've done it in the period. I haven't modernised it in a modern style, which of course a lot of people do with the country houses. You know, the other country house where I was going to move to, I was going to do that more classic contemporary. But I do still find, as a designer and going and doing houses all over the world, that it's important to reflect the interior should reflect the period of the house, how it's meant to be. And it's interesting because things then naturally look right because that's how they're meant to be and that's how it was designed to be. So, you know, when I do houses in Saint-Tropez, for example, a lot of them are Provençal, so I reflect that in the interior. And here it's Georgian predominantly, so there's a lot of Georgian furniture, a lot of nice fabrics from Colfax and Fowler, from Zoffany, from Osborne and Little, but the more period designers, you know, going back in time, who've actually reflected the designs from the archives, you know, how it would have been in the Georgian days. Watts of Westminster, you know, that very much do all that sort of fabric as well.
When was it built?
The house, originally, part of it was built in 1650. Then it was really, the majority of it was 1750. Then it had a transformation in 100 years on, 1850 to 1870.
And when did Sophia move in herself?
I'm not exactly sure of the exact date of that, but I think it was in the 1750 region, because the church dates back to 1650, and the church is the village church, and the house was built later, slightly later, but there is an original section of the house that was there, and then we have paintings in the house where you can see how it was originally.
And obviously you've got the holiday cottages now as
yes.
well.
So what I decided to do was, I can't use all of it, obviously. So what we've nicely done is converted a wing of the hall, which is separated. It's called the Bell House. And within the Bell House, we've got Willow Tree Cottage, and we've also got the Granny flat. But then over at the coach house, which is over by the bridge, the little stone bridge, we've got the old stable yard, and above the stable yard, we've got the farrier's loft, named after a blacksmith, the farrier, and we've got the coach house. And people come here and just love it. We get permanent, excellent reviews, 5-star reviews every time, because people come and they just can't believe they've come to this little haven.